So today I thought of talking a bit about what Buddha have mentioned about those protective meditations. Because this brother was last night asking, where are they going to fit into this? Remember the protective meditations, the Buddhanusati, Dhammanusati, Sanghanusati, and the Mettanusati, Asubhanusati, Marananusati, Anapanasati. Where do they fit in? Now, we use them at the beginning when our mind is still not ready to actually take up the intensive part, the higher training. First we must make our immature mind mature. And this is exactly what Buddha says, and it's in this sutta called Meghiya Sutta. There is this one monk. So I brought actually the Anguttara Nikaya. So all this time what we say, you might take it as, oh, this is what the Bhantes are saying. But most of the things that Bhante Punaji talks or I talk is actually directly from the suttas and from our experience of applying it to ourselves and then sharing it with you all. But I think it's also good for you all to see in the sutta, Buddha's words. So actually it will reaffirm you that this is what Buddha was saying. So let me read the Meghiya Sutta. Now the background is there was this monk called Meghiya. And he was attendant of the Buddha at that time. And they were actually in a remote area. And then this monk Meghiya, he goes on the alms round. And then he sees a very nice kind of a forest setting, a mango tree grove. And it's very pleasing, very quiet. It has this tranquil setting and environment and everything. So he thinks, this is the best place for me to come and practice. So he goes to the Buddha and tells Buddha that I have this wish to go there and meditate. Spend my time there and meditate. And then Buddha kindly reminds him that Meghiya, it's only you and me in here. So wait until someone else comes. So he was okay for a while. And then again he comes back and he tells Buddha, can I actually go and do my own practice in that forest? It's the ideal setting. So Buddha says, it will be good if you can wait until someone else comes here. And after some time again this monk comes and tells, so when the third time when Buddha said, we are now alone here, first let another monk come. Now I'm going to the sutta, actual sutta, for you to see his words. But the Venerable Meghiya replied, saying, Lord, for the Blessed One there is nothing further to achieve, and no need to consolidate what he has achieved. But as for me, Lord, there is still more to achieve and the need to consolidate what I have achieved. If the Blessed One permits me, I shall go to that mango grove and strive. So he is pretty much saying, well, you have done your job. I'm not there yet. So please let me go. So kind of, putting a little bit of a blame and also saying, I want to go and do my own practice. And you can see, probably in the outset it might look like someone is striving to do their practice. But someone wise can work out the state of that mind. There's a lot of selfishness in that mind. He's actually trying to abandon his teacher when his teacher needs him. So instead of being selfless and trying to practice, he thought it's that place that will help him to develop his mind. But Buddha knew his mind wasn't ready yet for that higher training. So anyway, after the third time, this is what happened. As you speak of striving, Megiyya, what can we say? You may do so now as you think fit. So then the Venerable Megiyya then arose from his seat, saluted the Blessed One, and keeping him to his right, left for the mangrove grove. Having arrived, he went deeper into the grove and sat down under a tree to spend the day there. But while staying in that mango grove, 3 kinds of evil, unwholesome thoughts constantly assailed him. Sensual thoughts of ill will and thoughts of violence constantly bombarded his mind. So you can see that his mind is still full of those 3 kinds of unwholesome thoughts. So then he thought, truly, it is strange, it is amazing. I have gone forth from home into the homeless life out of faith. That means he has become a monk, he has become a renunciant, he has let go of all the sensual comforts and everything and become a monk, and he's surprised now. Still, I got these unwholesome thoughts in these 3 categories. Kama vitakka, vyapada vitakka, hinsa vitakka. Remember the first time I was talking about, when we are talking about the Samma Sankappa, and on the Dveda Vitakka Sutta, that Buddha was specifically talking to monks about being able to see these 2 types of thoughts and being able to deal with the unwholesome thoughts and being able to get rid of them on the spot. Yeah. So he's thinking now, I have let go of everything and become a monk, but yet I am harassed by these 3 kinds of evil, unwholesome thoughts: sensual thoughts, thoughts of ill will, and thoughts of violence. Then the Venerable Megiyya went back to the Blessed One, and having saluted him, he told him what had occurred and exclaimed, truly it is strange, it is amazing. I have gone forth from home into the homeless life out of faith, and yet I am harassed by those 3 kinds of evil, unwholesome thoughts. Then Buddha replies, if Megiyya, the mind still lacks maturity for liberation, there are 5 conditions conducive to making it mature. What 5? So here Buddha is telling you all very clearly, if your mind is still like that, having lots of thoughts with sensual desires, with ill will, hatred, anger, and cruelty and all that, it's an immature mind. We must know that. If someone tells us, okay, you come and sit and practice Satipatthana, you can get enlightened, that's something for you all to think about. First you must work on maturing your mind, helping your mind to create the causes and conditions for the mind to mature. So what are these causes and conditions? So Buddha goes to say, the first thing, Megiyya, for making the immature mind mature for liberation is to have a noble friend, a noble companion, a noble associate. So the Kalyana Mitra is the first one, because it's them who will help you, guide you to come to the right direction. When your mind is immature, actually, you even abandon the Kalyana Mitras. See, he had Buddha next to him. He could have learned so much and, helped to develop his mind mature. But he didn't do that. He was trying to do something that he can't do. He wasn't even wise into the level that he couldn't see who Buddha is and the value of the Buddha to actually learn while he is there with the Buddha, while attending and helping and being, selfless. At the same time, helping himself by learning the Dhamma. But he couldn't even recognize that. So it's very important that you understand this, that Buddha always says the Kalyana Mitras, these noble friends, the noble associate, is the first factor that helps. And Buddha defines who is a Kalyana Mitra. Kalyana Mitras are the people who have had the right view or the harmonious perspective, who has seen the Dhamma and who is on their way to Nibbana, on the Noble Eightfold Path. So I guess if you can't find them, then you have to settle for a bit less and at least find people with good virtues, with generous mind and with some goodness and wisdom, at least developed to some extent, who will guide you in the right way, not drag you down to the unwholesome evil side. Then Buddha says, further, Megya, a monk should be virtuous. He's talking about the sila. For you all, it's about your sila. Monk should be virtuous, restrained by the restraint of the Patimokka. That's our Vinaya. For you all, it's pretty much your 5 precepts or 8 precepts or 10 precepts or whatever that you're following. Restrained by the restraint of the Patimokka, perfect in conduct and resort, seeing danger in the slightest faults. Having undertaken the training rules, he should train himself in them. This is the second thing that makes the immature mind mature for liberation. And it's very important for you all to understand that this is Buddha's words. And I know there are some meditation groups even teach that, you don't have to bother about your sila, your precepts. Don't worry about them. Come and meditate. Just practice satipatthana. Just do the vipassana. You'll be okay. And my mum is one of them, by the way. So I have been trying to convince her and I haven't been able to do it so yet. Because those groups, when you get caught up in those groups, they even tell, don't read the sutras, don't listen to anyone. You just come and practice, focus on your Vedana, do your satipatthana, and they don't know what they're doing. I know because I have that personal experience actually, how they can be so diluted and be left in so dark, because they are not even open to get any help from anywhere and they think they are doing the right thing. So if someone is telling you actually sila doesn't matter, forget about your sila, you just sit and meditate and do satipatthana, you will get enlightened, that's not what Buddha's words are. Buddha is bringing your attention to this factor that you must have a restraint on your defilements. Why you take precepts is actually to curtail your defilements. Yeah, it's a self-discipline. So you must have that self-discipline if you want to progress on this path. Okay, then Buddha goes again to say further, Megya, the talk in which a monk engages should benefit an austere life and be helpful to mental clarity. That is to say, it should be talk on fewness of wishes, on contentment, on solitude, on seclusion, on application of energy, on virtue, concentration, that means tranquility, the samadhi, the wisdom, liberation, and on the knowledge of vision of liberation. If a monk finds opportunities for such talk easily and without difficulty, this is the third thing that makes the immature mind mature for liberation. So you might understand why actually Buddha is even bringing this talk matter to here, because As normal people, it's part of your life to talk, and very difficult to restrain from talk. And when you come to retreats, even you will know that sometimes we have a very hard time keeping people quiet, not to speak, because you're so used to it. So Buddha is giving actually advice to people like you who are starting, beginners. Even though they can be monks, they are still having that immature mind. So you have to deal with that problem then, that tendency, the talk. So Buddha is saying, at least make sure when you talk on these wholesome things. That's going to help you to develop. So cut down on your frivolous talk, just wasting time on the wasted talk. Don't engage in any of the unwholesome talk. And in other suttas, actually, Buddha says, if you haven't got any talk to do into the wholesome way, it's best to be quiet. If you don't have someone who can talk with you these kind of thoughts, then better to be by yourself and be quiet. That's actually more benefiting to you. So you must pay attention to this as well, not only in the retreat. If you really want to progress in your life towards Nibbana, then you must take care of this. This Meghiya Sutta is in Anguttara Nikaya, and it's on the chapter of 9 and the 3rd Sutta. So you can see there is this 10 categories of this wholesome talk. So I have seen in some places they actually print it in big letters and keep it. So it's actually a good reminder for you in the office, at home, wherever, just to come back to track. Your talk should be only on these matters, and that will help you a lot. And then Buddha goes on to say, further, Meghiya, a monk lives with his energy set upon the abandoning of everything unwholesome and the acquiring of everything wholesome. He is steadfast and strong in his effort, virya, not shirking his task in regard to wholesome qualities. This is the 4th thing that makes the immature mind mature for liberation. So your effort, your virya, must be there all the time to abandon the unwholesome straight away. When you see it, you have to apply your energy, exhort it to throw it away. And you must also have the energy to develop the wholesome. And then the other factor is, Buddha says, further, Meghiya, a monk possesses wisdom. He is equipped with that wisdom which sees into the rise and fall of phenomena, which is noble and penetrative, leading to the complete destruction of suffering. This is the 5th thing that makes the immature mind mature for liberation. And then Buddha goes on to say, when, Meghiya, a monk has a noble friend, a noble companion, an associate, it can be expected that he will be virtuous. Because if you have these good friends, the Kalyana Mittas, noble friends, actually you are going to get influenced by their nature. So naturally you will become virtuous like them. You will be following them. You will be talking only this wholesome talk with them. And when you see their wisdom, you will strive on actually to gain that wisdom too. So you are pretty much guided into the right track. This is a very important part for you all to understand in your daily life. You have to be very careful about the people who you associate with. The Mangala Sutta, Buddha starts with Asevanacha Balana. Don't associate with Balayos or the Asatpurushas, the people who don't know the Dhamma, people who don't know the good and the bad, the right and the wrong, and choose to do the right thing, choose to do the good thing. Because if you associate with those people with low grade qualities, with low goodness and wisdom, you're going to influence by them. You're going to think even your negative qualities is okay. So and so is doing it, so what? It's okay for me. This is how we normally gauge ourselves. Yeah? We always compare. And kids do this all the time. This is why the parents have to be very careful about who they associate with. And in our lives, it's more than the parents or the relatives or the brothers and sisters who influences us. Is the people who we associate. So make sure you get into the right company with Kalyana Mittas. And in Dhammapada, Buddha says, if you can't find these noble friends, better to be alone. Don't indulge in this Baleos company, because it will only do harm and damage to you. So you better choose to live alone and left alone. Anyway, then Buddha goes on to say, it can be expected that he will be virtuous and etc., that he will engage in talk, benefiting the austere life and helpful to mental clarity, that his energy will be set upon the abandoning of everything unwholesome and acquiring of everything wholesome, and that he will be equipped with the wisdom that leads to the complete destruction of suffering. Now here comes the most important part. Then, Meghiya, when the monk is firmly grounded in these 5 things, so your mind is now kind of getting mature, he should cultivate 4 other things. So you can see there was groundwork to be done first, and then we are coming here now. Okay, what is he saying? Then he should cultivate 4 other things. He should cultivate the meditation on the foulness of the body. What is it called? The Asubhanusati. For abandoning lust. He should cultivate loving kindness for abandoning ill will. He should cultivate mindfulness of breathing for cutting off distracting thoughts. He should cultivate the perception of impermanence for eliminating the conceit I am. In one who perceives impermanence, the perception of non-self becomes firmly established, and one who perceives non-self achieves the elimination of the conceit I am and attains Nibbana in this very life. So you can see how these other meditations fit in. So this meditations were basically pretty much I guess was applying to Meghiya for his defilements. And there are other suttas where then Buddha actually teaches about the other types of meditations that I told you. So this is a very important sutta for you all to understand, that we must do things first. Whatever the first things that we must do it first. And then only we must try to do the next step. Otherwise it's like you trying to fill water into a jar with a baseless, because it will only flow out, no use, because you don't have the capacity to hold it. So I hope you understood the importance of first trying to cultivate that immature mind to mature mind. Okay. And then, now for Meghiya was lucky, because Buddha was there actually to look into his mind and actually teach him what he really needs in that moment. But for you all, bit difficult. So now you all have to be your own doctor too. So then Buddha advises people to know your own self, know your own character, know your own defilements, do your own self-examination. When you do your self-examination, honestly, you will know what are your defilements, what is more or what is greater in you, whether it's sensual desires or the ill will or whatever. So then you can do something about it. Now you know the methods of how to make the mind mature, and also which methods to use to counteract the ill will or the lust or whatever. You know what to do. So then you know you must spend more time on that kind of meditation according to your character. So Buddha teaches us how to do this self-examination. So let me read that sutta also, so you can do the self-examination for yourselves. And before I go to that, now there is this mindfulness of death. There's 2 sutras in the Anguttara Nikaya on the chapter 8, Sutta 73 and Sutta number 74. And I will read that first before I go to the self-examination. On one occasion, this sutta is called the Mindfulness of Death, part 1. On one occasion, the Blessed One was dwelling at Nadika in the brick hall. There he addressed the monks as follows. Mindfulness of death, O monks, if developed and cultivated, brings great fruit and benefit. It merges in the deathless, ends in the deathless. Therefore, monks, you should develop mindfulness of death. After the Blessed One had spoken, a certain monk said, Lord, I develop mindfulness of death. So Buddha asked, how do you develop it? Monk replies, I think in this way, Lord. Oh, were I to live just for one day and a night, I would direct my mind on the Blessed One's teaching. Much indeed could then be done by me. Thus, Lord, I cultivate mindfulness of death. So this is actually teaching you all how to do the death meditation properly. Later, not yet. Now this is what the monk is doing, and you can see what Buddha is going to say for that. Other monks in that assembly likewise said that they developed mindfulness of death, and being asked how they did so, they answered, I think in this way, Lord. Oh, were I to live but for a single day, for a half a day, just for the time I need to eat one meal, half a meal, just for the time I need to chew and swallow 4 or 5 morsels of food, to chew and swallow 1 morsel of food, just for the time I breathe in after the out-breath or breathe out after the in-breath, I would direct my mind on the Blessed One's teaching. Much indeed could then be done by me. Thus, Lord, I do develop mindfulness of death in this way. So after the monks had thus spoken, the Blessed One said, the monks who said that they develop mindfulness of death with the thought, oh, were I to live just for one day and a night, for the time needed to chew and swallow 4 or 5 morsels of food of these monks, it must be said that they live indolently and that they develop mindfulness of death in a slack way for the distraction of the taints. But monks, those who develop mindfulness of death with the thought, oh, were I to live for the time I need to chew and swallow 1 morsel of food, or for the time of breathing in after the out-breath, or breathing out after the in-breath, I would direct my mind on the Blessed One's teaching. Much indeed could then be done by me. Of these monks it can be said that they live diligently and that they develop mindfulness of death ardently for the destruction of pains. Therefore, monks, you should train yourselves thus. We will dwell diligently and we will develop mindfulness of death ardently for the destruction of pains. This indeed, monks, you should train yourselves. So you have to think, I may be only living for this moment. This in and out breath, this in and that's the way to practice about this death contemplation. And there is something interesting on the number 2, the sutta, mindfulness of death. On one occasion, the Blessed One was dwelling at Nadika in the brick hall. There he addressed the monks as follows. mindfulness of death, O monks, if developed and cultivated, brings great fruit and benefit. It merges in the deathlessness. It merges in the deathless, ends in the deathless. And how, monks, is mindfulness of death developed in such a way? When the day fades and night sets in, or when the night is spent and day breaks, a monk should reflect thus: many things might be the cause of my death. So this is the way now for you all to think. Many things might be the cause of my death. A snake or a scorpion or a centipede may sting me, and on that account I may die. This would be a hindrance to me. Or I may stumble and fall. Or the food I ate may cause illness. Or bile, phlegm, or piercing winds may upset my health. Or humans or non-humans may assault me, and on that account I may die. This would be a hindrance to me. Then that monk should further reflect thus: do I harbor in myself any evil, unwholesome qualities, which are still unabandoned and which would be a hindrance to me if I were to die tonight or during the day? It comes to that. It comes down to that. Do I harbor in myself any evil, unwholesome thoughts, qualities, which are still unabandoned and which would be a hindrance to me if I were to die tonight or during the day? If on reflection that monk realizes that those evil, unwholesome qualities still remain within him, then he should, with strong resolve, apply all his effort, vigor and exertion, together with mindfulness and clear comprehension, to abandon them. Just as a man whose turban on hair is on fire would resolutely apply all his effort, vigor and exertion, together with mindfulness and clear comprehension, to extinguish the fire, even so should that monk resolutely apply all his effort to abandon those evil, unwholesome qualities. But if, on reflection, that monk realizes that no such evil, unwholesome qualities still remain within him, then he may well experience gladness and joy. By day and night, he should train himself in everything that is wholesome. So he is saying, okay, if you don't have any of the unwholesome thoughts or qualities, then you must experience that bodily comfort and the happiness in your mind, and it's time for you to develop your 7 factors of enlightenment. So he says then, by the day and night he should train himself in everything that is wholesome. What is wholesome is cultivating the 7 factors of enlightenment. If monks' mindfulness of death is developed and cultivated in such a way, it will be of great fruit and benefit. It will merge in the deathless and in deathlessness. So hope now you understand about the importance of contemplation on death. Yeah? You were asking me yesterday? Okay. Now let's go to the self-examination part. I thought I marked it. Okay, self-examination. That is in Anguttara Nikaya on the chapter of 10th chapter, number 51. Self-examination. If, O monks, a monk is not skilled in knowing the ways of others' minds, he should resolve, I must become skilled in knowing the ways of my own mind. Thus, monks, should you train yourselves. So, try not to look into the others' faults or to think where they are at in their journey and blah blah blah, but you must focus on your own practice. try to get to know yourself, your mind. And this is what Buddha is saying, not me. And how is a monk skilled in knowing the ways of his own mind? It is just as if a woman or a man, young, youthful, and fond of ornaments, would look at their face in a clean, bright mirror or in a bowl of clear water. If they then see any dust or dirt, they will make all effort to remove it. But if no dust or dirt is seen, they will be glad about it, and their wish satisfied. They will think, how good, I am so clean. Similarly, monks. For a monk, self-examination is very helpful for the growth of wholesome qualities. Am I often covetous or often not covetous? Do I often have ill will in my heart, or am I often free of it? Am I often immersed in sloth and torpor, or am I often free of it? Am I excited, or often free of excitement? Am I often in doubt, or often free of doubt? Am I often angry, or often free of anger? Is this mind often defiled by unwholesome thoughts, or often free of defilements? Is my body often restless, or often free of restlessness? Am I often lazy, or often energetic? Am I often unconcentrated, or often concentrated? Here the concentration means that tranquility of the mind. When, by such self-examination, the monk finds that he is often covetous, full of ill will, slothful, excited, doubtful. Here doubtful means vicikicca, having vicikicca, the tension, angry, mentally defiled, bodily restlessness, lazy and unconcentrated, then he should apply his utmost zeal and energy, effort and exertion, as well as unremitting mindfulness and clear comprehension, to the abandoning of all those evil, unwholesome qualities. See, Buddha repeats this over and over and over. There are so many sutras that he emphasizing on removing these unwholesome qualities, unwholesome thoughts. Just as a man whose clothes or turban are on fire would apply his utmost zeal and energy, effort and exertion, as well as mindfulness and clear comprehension, so that he may extinguish the fire, even so the monk should apply his utmost zeal and energy for the abandoning of those evil, unwholesome qualities. But if, on examining himself or herself, that monk finds that he is more often without covetousness and ill will, more often free from sloth and torpor, free from excitement and doubt, more often free from anger, and finds that his mind is more often undefiled and his body is free of restlessness, that he is more often energetic and well concentrated, then, grounding himself firmly in all these wholesome qualities, he should make a further effort for the distraction of the taints. So this is how you should do your self-examination. You must be honest to yourselves and do it honestly. If you are not going to be honest and you try to paint a nice white picture over you, no, I'm not getting angry, I don't have any ill will towards anyone, I don't get jealousy. Like that, if you keep saying, then it won't help you all. But try to see these underlying qualities actually that's lying in your normal thoughts. The thoughts can seem very innocent. Like I can take, for example, sometimes, people see their neighbor or someone actually winning a lottery or winning a car or something. So the first thing comes to mind, how come it's them, huh? Why? I'm struggling so much, my family needs so much support. Why it didn't come to me? Why didn't I win? Or why didn't my child get the scholarship? Like that. That thought looks very innocent in that surface level, but what's underlying is actually jealousy, not being able to really rejoice or be happy about the other's success. So what's in there is jealousy. So like that, you do need to investigate your own thoughts to find out actually what's right inside there, what's giving rise to that thought. Then only you will be able to figure out whether you are a saint or not really. So if it's not, that's good, because you still have some work to do and you can actually improve yourself and you can make yourself a saint, a real one. But when you are not a saint and you keep believing you are a saint, then you are in trouble. You will never get a chance to actually become a real saint, because you're kind of misjudging yourself, and that stops you from working further. So it's a real hindrance. So do an honest examination on you, and then you will find who you are, and you will be able to figure out your nature, your qualities, which side the more tendency to be angry, or the tendency to be more into the sensual desires, you'll be able to find. You can find your own afflictions, your own problems, and then try to do something about it, because now you're being taught for a long time. Bhante has been teaching you on how to fix your own problems, and then you can do it. And there was actually a very interesting sutta about craving, about the sensual pleasures and the desires, and how Buddha sees it. It was very interesting. I don't think I marked it. But it might help you to understand. Buddha's opinion, or the way he look at these sensual desires. Here we go. This sutta is called Sensual Desire, Anguttara Nikaya, chapter 6, number 23. Sensual desire. Monks, peril is a name for sensual desire. Pain is a name for sensual desire. Disease is a name for sensual desire. Tumor, fetter, morass is a name for sensual desire. And why, monks, is the peril a name for sensual desire? Inflamed by sensual passions and in bondage to lustful desire, one is free neither of the perils of this world nor of the perils of the next world. Inflamed by the sensual passions and in bondage to lustful desire, one is free neither of the pain, the disease, the tumor, the fetter, and the morass of this world nor of the next world. Because that's what actually moves that's where the problem begins. So you must pay attention to that. And having said all this, there is another thing that you do need to aware of. That is, Buddha always talks about developing these 5 powers of a training. They are called Indriya, and also when you develop those 5 things, it becomes Bala. Pancha Bala means it gathers power, or it gathers strength. That means if you have power, you can use it. It's like a stored energy that's there, which you can then use it. So what are these 5 things Buddha always talks about? When you develop in these 5 things, this Panchabala, you will know you need all these meditation techniques to actually balance them. You have to have these 5 things, the 5 bala. They are called the Saddha, Virya, Sati, Samadhi, Panya, and they all have to be balanced. If one goes out of balance, your meditation goes out of balance. So you have to be able to balance them, and this is why you need all these techniques to keep it balanced. Let me find that sutta for you. The training's 5 powers, and there are 2 discourses in this book: the training's powers and another 5 powers. 1, 2, 7. Saddha, yeah. Faith, devotion means your ability to recognize the goodness and to hold that goodness so up high. Uphold that goodness. So uphold the Buddha, Dhamma and the Sangha, because only if you manage to recognize and appreciate that goodness, then only you will keep it up high. Then only there is a chance that you will look up high actually to work towards that, to have those qualities in you. If you look down upon something, you will never learn anything from that. You will never want to gain anything from that, because you're looking down on it and you're thinking, that's not valuable, that's rubbish. So first thing is, you must be able to recognize the Buddha for who Buddha is, what Dhamma is, what Sangha is, and that hold that, appreciate that goodness and wisdom, and hold it up high within you. Then only you will be motivated to follow them. If not, you won't follow. Virya is the 4 efforts that you have to put: Samvara, Prahana, Bhavana, Anurakkhana. Remember, on the right effort or harmonious exercise, that's the virya. Virya to get rid of the unwholesome and to develop the wholesome. And what is sati? You know that very well. We have been talking so much. The normally translated as mindfulness, but being able to pay attention in this moment within yourself, looking at what's happening in that chain reaction. What is this thought doing to you? What is it doing to this mood? What is the feeling that caused all this, and how it's affecting your body. So pretty much focusing on these 4 foundations of mindfulness. So Saddha, Virya, Sati, Samadhi. You know what Samadhi is? Getting rid of 5 hindrances and staying in the jhanas. The other one is called wisdom, because remember, it goes in a cyclic way. More you develop one, the rest also develops. More you develop one, the rest develops. It's a cyclic effect. So when it comes to perfectedness, from samadhi you go into the 4th jhana, develops it into upekha, and then at that place, when the wisdom that's going to develop there will help you all to see what's inside there actually, is to penetrate into the 5 aggregates or 5 cumulatives, 5 khandhas. That's when you will find the full liberation. But until that final bit happens, you must keep working on. So let me tell you what Buddha is saying. The 5 powers. There are, O monks, another 5 powers: the power of faith, energy, mindfulness, concentration, and wisdom. So what monks is the power of faith? So it explains what is the power of energy. He explains what is the power of mindfulness. Here, monks, the noble disciple is mindful. He is equipped with the keenest mindfulness and circumspection. He remembers well and keeps in mind what has been said and done and long ago and the effects. What is the power of concentration? Here, monks secluded from sensual pleasures, secluded from unwholesome states. The noble disciple enters and dwells in the first jhana, second jhana, third jhana, fourth jhana, which is neither painful nor pleasant, and includes the purification of mindfulness by equanimity. What is the power of wisdom? It's in this other side. What is the power of wisdom? Here, monks, the noble disciple is wise. He possesses that wisdom which sees into the rise and fall of phenomena, which is noble and penetrating and leads to the complete destruction of suffering. So when we talk about seeing rise and fall, in what do you see this rise and fall? Where? In the five aggregates. That's what rises, that what falls away. And in this other one, the five trainees powers, Buddha actually puts. So see, the other one was called the five powers, but here this sutra is called the trainees powers. That means this is a person who is actually training, like people like you all. So then Buddha says, monks, these are five powers of one in the training. What five? The trainees powers of faith, saddha, shame, hiri, moral dread, ottappa, energy and wisdom. See, you must have this hiri ottappa. It's a very important thing to develop. I think Bhante Punnaji has probably discussed this in the sutta classes I have heard. That's one quality that you all must develop. And what is the power of faith? So now Buddha says, what is saddha? Here, monks, a noble disciple has faith, saddha. He places saddha in the enlightenment of the Tathagata. The Blessed One is an arahant, fully enlightened, accomplished in true knowledge and conduct, sublime, knower of the world, unsurpassed, leader of the persons to be tamed, teacher of devas and humans, the enlightened one, the Blessed One. And what is the power of shame? Hiri. Here, monks, a noble disciple has a sense of shame. He feels ashamed of bad behavior by body, speech and mind. He feels ashamed of anything evil and unwholesome. So this is why you must have it, because it stops you from doing it further. And what is the power of moral dread? Here, monks, a noble disciple has moral dread. He dreads bad behavior by body, speech and mind. He dreads anything evil and unwholesome. Hiri ottappa. Yeah, it's a hiri ottappa that they have translated into shame and moral dread. Because I don't think they are expressing it the 100% as what Buddha was meaning there. Hiri means actually in Sinhalese there is a word that we use as part of this word. It's a hirikita. Hirikita means you're actually very repelled by that act, or innately you don't want to do it. You recognize it as a yucky thing, something bad. Ottappa means not that you keep regretting or anything, but you recognize it and then you don't do it again. You resolve yourselves to not to keep doing the same thing, but to move forward. You have a repentance, but not that you beat yourself. but you do recognize it and recognize it as a mistake and then move forward. Otherwise, if you keep thinking and not forgive yourself, then it becomes a hindrance. Here what it means is you must have the ability to recognize when you do a mistake. Don't let it slip. You must recognize them. Then only you can avoid that happening to the next time. So you do recognize and repent about it. If you can do something to correct the situation, you do it. Otherwise, make sure that we don't do that. We don't repeat that again. It happens naturally. If you realize a mistake as a mistake, natural tendency is to avoid it again. You won't do it. The same mistakes keep occurring again and again because you have not identified the mistakes as a mistake. Yeah? So here there is 5 Buddha is saying for the trainees. Yes. Yeah, faith, shame and moral dread, sati. Did they say the sati in that one? Sorry, no sati in there. It's the faith, shame and moral dread, energy and wisdom. Because sati is something that you only can actually develop when your mind is pure to a certain extent. So these are the things you must practice before you come to that. See here, the person's mind is an immature mind. So Buddha is actually advising how to make it mature, how to make it stable. But after it's stable, the 5 powers you must develop is saddha, virya, sati, samadhi, panya. Because that's what's going to help you to bring to the final goal. So your saddha must be always balanced by the panya, because you must not have blind faith. If you have too much blind faith, that becomes a problem. So it should be balanced by the panya. And if you have too much energy, then you become restless. So it should be balanced with samadhi. And if you have too much samadhi, then that's also not good. You do have to arouse energy. So then you must stop practicing the jhanas, but you must put a lot more effort into the energy. And what's in the middle is the sati, and Buddha says until the end of this journey you must keep this one, because this is the one will tell you which one is out of balance, what needs to be done. Everything comes from you being able to place attention. No, sati cannot be too much until you get enlightened. But the other things you have to practice to balance. And when you practice, you actually start to realize when these things go out of balance. If there's a teacher, then they can help you out to kind of help to fix that. And there are many suttas. It's not in here in Anguttara Nikaya, also Majjhima Nikaya, Samyutta Nikaya, where Buddha teaches about how to balance them, the meditation methods, as to if you have too much saddha and not the panya, how to balance that, how to get the virya, or if you have too much virya, how to balance that, if the samadhi is unbalanced, how to balance that, and Buddha teaches that. And very specifically in those suttas he says the sati you must always develop. Not it's not too much. At any time it will not become too much. It's something you all must practice. Sorry? Sati is normally translated as mindfulness. what they are trying to say using that word is being able to fully focus on what you do in this moment. And this is why Bhante uses the word attention. Because only if you can place attention, you will see what's going on. So where do you place attention is not outside, on yourself, in your mind. Where? On your body, on your feelings, on your state of the chitta, the mood, and on your thoughts. Those are the 4 places where you place your attention. And there is another interesting story that Buddha is giving advice to a monk called Nanda. And this might help you all in your practice, because it's looking at this practice in another angle. Here Buddha is giving solution to some other problems, some other defilements, and I think it might help you all. This sutta is in Anguttara Nikaya on the chapter of 8 and the 9th discourse. It's called the Nanda. When speaking of Nanda, O monks, one may rightly say that he is of good family, that he is strong and handsome and very passionate. How else could Nanda live the perfect and pure holy life except by guarding the sense doors, by being moderate in eating, by cultivate wakefulness, and by setting up mindfulness and clear comprehension. This, monks, is now how Nanda guards his sense doors. I still haven't come to talk about the guarding the senses. We'll do it tomorrow. If Nanda has to look to the east, he does so only after having considered everything well in his mind. While I am looking to the east, I will not let covetousness and grief or other evil, unwholesome states enter my mind. Thus he has clear comprehension. If he has to look to the west, south or north, he does so only after having considered everything well in his mind. While I am looking to the west, south or north, I will not let covetousness and grief or other evil, unwholesome states enter my mind. Thus he has clear comprehension. This, monks, is Nanda's moderation in eating. Here, monks, Nanda takes his food wisely, reflecting that it is neither for enjoyment, nor for indulgence, nor for physical beauty and attractiveness, but only for the upkeep and sustenance of this body, for avoiding harm to it, and for supporting the holy life, thinking, thus I shall put a stop to old feelings of hunger, and shall not arouse new feelings, and I shall be healthy and blameless and live in comfort. This, monks, is Nanda's moderation in eating. See, all of this applies to you all. This, monks, is how Nanda cultivates wakefulness. Here, monks, Nanda purifies his mind from obstructive thoughts during the day while walking back and forth or sitting. And so, see, Buddha is not talking about just one particular method. He is saying, when Nanda is purifying his mind from obstructive thoughts during the day while walking back and forth or sitting. So you can do walking meditation with any method. Buddha hadn't restricted you all to do walking meditation in a specific method, saying raise, pass the leg and drop the leg. That's not the way, yeah? It's Buddha's words here. This is why I want to point out these suttas so that you will understand what we teach here. Bhante and me is not our own things, but what Buddha is saying. Because some people find when we ask them to do the walking meditation while contemplating on the Buddha Dhamma Sangha, or contemplating on this metta, or contemplating on death, they find it very strange. Because all this time they've been taught to do the walking meditation in a specific way, only focusing on the feeling of the foot. So they find this is very strange. But it's not really strange, because this is what Buddha has been saying. You can use it. Any body posture can be used while you're purifying your mind. Your focus should be to purify your mind. As long as you're keeping your back straight and you're comfortable, it doesn't matter what the body posture is, whether it's in long way, this way, standing, or whether it's sitting, or whether it's walking, or horizontal, lying down, doesn't matter. Your aim should be to purify your mind regardless of how your body is staying, or the posture. So Buddha is saying, Nanda purifies his mind from obstructive thoughts during the day while walking back and forth or sitting. And so, during the first watch of the night, likewise, while walking and sitting, during the middle watch of the night, he lies down, lion-like, on his right side. So, remember about the right side? It didn't come from me, it's from Buddha. Placing one foot on the other, keeping in mind the thought of rising in the last watch of the night. He again purifies his mind from obstructive thoughts while walking back and forth and sitting. This is Nanda's cultivation of wakefulness. Yes? No. Wakefulness means opposite to the sloth and torpor. You're awake, you're not sleepy. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. This is not prahana, because sloth and torpor is a big problem in this path. So, Lord Buddha is saying how this monk is actually overcoming that problem. So he is using walking meditation back and forth to purify his mind. And even while sitting, he is doing that. And then when he's tired, he's resting. But he goes to rest with that idea that I'm going to rise at this certain hour, and then I'll keep practicing. And what Buddha is showing is actually he's only sleeping a short while. At Buddha's time, they normally divide this time, night, to 4 kind of quarters. So Buddha is saying he is up until so during the first watch of the night, so he is still meditating, like walking and sitting, and during the middle watch of the night, then he lies down. So middle watch of the night goes from 10 to 2 o'clock. From my memory, don't quote me. I think that's the middle watch of the night. And from 2 to 4 is the third watch. The first watch of the night, while walking and sitting, so until 10 o'clock, he's meditating. And from 10 to 2, he lies down, lion-like, on his right side, placing one foot on the other, keeping in mind the thought of rising in the last watch of the night. So he is waking up at 2 o'clock. He again starts purifying his mind from obstructive thoughts while walking back and forth and sitting. That's Nanda's cultivation of wakefulness. So he's saying how ardent they are in their practice. See, normally people go to sleep to indulge. They indulge in their sleeping. Yeah? But for someone who is in this practice, you must not. So you must try to actually use it as only as a time to rest. Give a rest to your body. And then you go to sleep in a way that it's actually comfortable. It helps the organs to relax. But you will find when you sleep onto your right hand side like that and you one foot over the other, It's not as enjoyable as if you were sleeping in the other ways, to put the word. If you are facing down or facing up or turning to this side and that side, this is not like that. This actually keeps you alert. Some alertness is there when you sleep like this. And then the sutta is not finished. This, monks, is Nanda's mindfulness and clear comprehension. Here, monks, for Nanda, feelings are understood as they arise. This is also something very important for you all to know, because some of you battle with your aches and pains and all this kind of feelings. So Lord Buddha is saying, here monks, for Nanda, feelings are understood as they arise, as they remain present, as they pass away. That's all. Feelings are understood as they arise, so there is some kind of this feeling is in me, and then when it's there, it's there. When it has passed away also, it has passed away. So you are not getting attached to them, you are not possessing them, you are not personalizing them, you are just watching it for coming and going, like a visitor has come, visitor has gone. So don't get engaged. So it's understood as they arise, and as they remain present, and as they pass away. Perceptions are understood as they arise, as they remain present, as they pass away. Thoughts are understood as they arise, as they remain present, as they pass away. So you should not have any problems or complaints about I'm having too many thoughts or this and that. Never mind. All you have to do is just watch. They come. Know that if they are there, know that. When they are gone also, just know, just observe. That's all you have to do. Here what Buddha is showing is that he is not actually personalizing any of them. He is seeing it for what it is. They just come and they stay and they go on. So he notices all that. Let me repeat. For Nanda, feelings are understood as they arise, as they remain present, as they pass away. Perceptions are understood as they arise, as they remain present, as they pass away. Thoughts are understood as they arise, as they remain present, as they pass away. This, monks, is Nanda's mindfulness and clear comprehension. How else, O monks, could Nanda live the perfect and pure holy life? Except by guarding the sense doors, by being moderate in eating, by cultivating wakefulness, and by setting up mindfulness and clear comprehension. Yeah? Any questions you want to ask? Okay. I think maybe I shared enough for today. There's so many points for you all to think and ponder. And all this has to fit in that circle that you were showing me yesterday. See, Bhante is showing you all the methods to do, the roadmap and what you are practically doing here. But all this is hidden in there. These factors also in there that you must know, and you must know how to handle it. It's a jigsaw puzzle. That's why we encourage you all to read the suttas. Actually, the Anguttara Nikaya is a very good one. This book have been with me since maybe the same book. So wherever I go, I take it with me because it's so helpful. It covers pretty much maybe all the teachings of the Buddha is actually in here in these suttas. Pretty much. Yes? No, it's not that big, see? It's called the Numerical Discourses of the Buddha, written by Bhikkhu Bodhi and Nyanaponika Thera. Numerical Discourses. Yeah, you can.
How much does this book cost? the books?
No, they don't cost much. I mean, how much money you waste on other things? Compared to that, this is insignificant.
Oh, this India.
And also you can get used to utilize the books in the library. You must come to the library here. There's a big library. And there's other libraries too, isn't it? There's so many Buddhist centers and societies throughout here. You all must make use of those libraries. Read the suttas, because most of the time also you will find this Dhamma works in very strange ways. When you have a problem that you don't know how to solve or whatever, when you turn into a page, it's actually addressing that problem. So get used to using the books, the suttas. So these teachings are directly from Buddha, not that someone else has written anything. Like the book that we were talking about last night, the Visuddhimagga, it's not like that. These suttas directly, they come from Buddha's words, and just translated. Yeah. There was another one interesting sutta. Maybe I'll share it with you later. So, we'll use this time to meditate if you all don't have any questions. Do you have any questions regarding these? Later I might write down there the kind of what meditation suits what type of defilements. So they're also not that what I'm saying, it's all what Buddha had said. It all comes from different suttas. Yes? Yeah? Sorry? I think I'm getting old. I'm not hearing everything that you're saying. Yes, okay. But distracting thoughts, can you be specific whether the distracting thoughts about is something to do with ill will or okay, there what he means is if your mind is disturbed, it's more or less when you have uddacha kukkucha, a lot of anxieties and worries and your mind is racing and there's a lot of speed, then the anapanasati helps to calm down when you have a lot of anxieties and worries. Anapanasati, okay, maybe we'll do it now. So if there's no question, we will do it now. Do you have any other questions? No, Okay, we'll wait for the people to go to the toilet and come, and then we'll start Anapanasati. I will just do maybe half an hour session, and then after that you all can go to the book. Read the book. It's already in here, in page number 51.